Hey, 8th grade. Today we're going to move on to 9.5, which is the quadratic formula. So today we're going to be solving quadratic equations using this new formula. X is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. You have to have it in standard form before you can substitute for each of the letters in the formula. We've now been working on examples like this since last chapter. So in chapter 8, we factored this, right? We tried to maybe make the diamond or pick 14 over here, find the factors that when we multiply, we end up with two binomials, right? And then we solved to find the exact answers, the set, the two roots. And then in the beginning of chapter 9, we graphed to find the answer, and we used a table, right? And then we moved on to finding the axis of symmetry. Anyways, my point is that we've done this problem, we've done this now. Today will be the fourth different way to solve. Tomorrow, I think we're gonna, or not tomorrow, on Monday, we're gonna review all four ways, and then we're gonna quiz on it. So if it's not fresh in your mind, that's fine, it will be. But this is the last of the four ways to solve quadratics. And again, it's just inputting information into the formula. So in this case, we're not talking about x's. This x from the formula is related to the standard form when it's x. We have m's, so technically it should say m is equal to, and if we use the formula, negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, and then we divide everything by 2a. When we substitute in for this problem, right, this is our a, this is our b, and this is our c. So ours is going to look like m equals negative 5 plus or minus the square root of negative 5 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 14 divided by 2 times 1. So we're going to simplify. 5 plus or minus the square root of negative 5 times negative 5 is 25, minus a negative times a negative is a positive, so it's going to be plus 4 times 14 is 56 times 1. It's 56 over 2. M equals 5 plus or minus the square root of, I think 81. 81 divided by 2. M equals 5 plus or minus 9 divided by 2. Here's where we go to case 1 and case 2. M equals 5 plus 9 divided by 2. M equals 5 minus 9 divided by 2. In case 1, we get 14 divided by 2, so 7. In case 2, we get negative 4 divided by 2, which is negative 2. So m is equal to the set of negative 2 and 7. Okay, we're just inputting into this new formula. Got to learn the formula. Once you know it, these are easy. You ready to try one? Here's yours. 2x squared plus 2x minus 12 equals 0. Go ahead and pause it and give it a try. So for this one, we have A is equal to 2, B is equal to 2, C is equal to negative 12. Okay? So we substitute in what we have. And when we simplify, we end up getting a square root of 100, which is 10. And when we solve for our case 1 and case 2, we end up with 2 and negative 3. And the two that we just did, our answers worked out into whole numbers, which is not always the case. So we're going to do an example like that so that you've seen one. And you'll know how, you can just leave it with the square root in there. Okay, so let's do an example so you have one. Let's say we have something like this. The first problem before we get started is this. They have to be combined. Okay, we want it equal to 0. So in this case, that means we're going to add 10 to both sides. So we have 2n squared minus 7n minus 3 equals 0. And now we can line them up. So A, B, C. And get ready to solve for this one. We have n equals, and the formula is negative b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. So when we sub in n equals negative 7 plus or minus the square root of negative 7 squared minus 4 times 2 times negative 3 over 2 times 2. And now we simplify more. So we have a positive 7 plus or minus the square root 49 plus 24 divided by 4. Equals 7 plus or minus the square root of 73 divided by 4. So for these, you do not need to find what the square root of 73 is. We can solve this by saying n is equal to 7 plus the square root of 73 over 4, or 7 minus the square root of 73 over 4. Okay, guys? For homework today, you're going to have a new worksheet. I think we did a couple from the worksheet, so I think we did 1, 3, and 8. So for homework, homework, why don't you pick 6? Pick any 6 not 1, 3, or 8. Not the 3 that are in your notes. Okay, so pick 6 more. And I'll link a copy of that worksheet. Thanks, you guys.